for
They're like, fuck! Just watch this.
Right.
This is podcast 10.1.
This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. So we're back again for another podcast, and this is podcast 10. Let's do this again.
10.5.
10.5. So let's hope we can hear some audio. I am going to just check this. 10.5.
La 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 la.
Ah, now we have liftoff.
Cool.
Right, we have liftoff. Right, let's do this again. This is Kemet 1976, podcast 10, Far Cry 5. You can catch me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. Let's introduce yourself, Lazy.
Hi, I'm the Lazy Mapper. I'm on YouTube and Twitter, and I'm also on Xbox and PC, and hopefully my mic's working. And here you can hear Death Weapon. I'm hearing no again about the mic, but we'll hear. We'll see what people say.
Is there still some issues with the
I'm
mic?
Death Weapon, and I do not do sound checks for Kemet whatsoever. So don't hate me or downvote my maps. I'm on Xbox.
Don't hate me.
Don't hate me.
There's only 4 people.
Hindsight, you can find me on the Xbox and Twitch and YouTube and Facebook, and I'm under Kylan Difex Jewett on there. So
Yeah, but what's your Pornhub name?
Pornhub.
Wow.
Pornhub. But maybe in like a year or so.
Right.
Right. Right, so sorry about this, guys. This has been a disaster. This
I'll
is
give
the
you
third.
a hint for the name. It's long.
This is the third podcast that we've had where I have had sound issues. Hopefully, this is sorted. So guys, where did we leave off? We were talking about the Hours of Darkness,
The DLC.
right? The DLC, right?
DLC.
So how you doing, Lazy Muppet? So yeah, the DLC, Hour of Darkness. What do you guys think?
Some people didn't like it.
I to go first.
I thought it was all right for the single player or whatever. We get 2 other DLCs, so I don't know. I thought it was all right.
What did you make of it, Def? Well, you didn't play it, did you?
Okay, so yeah, guilty. I bought the DLC thinking that it'd be something fantastic, and then I couldn't even get myself to even finish the single player. Not to say it's bad, it's just I'm all about the multiplayer aspect of it. Now with that, the assets are I guess great. I mean, it's cool. We've got a bunch of houses with weeds on them, and
I feel like we'll talk about more though.
Right.
Like supposedly they said that we're gonna get more mid-July, but
isn't that just AI? Like, maybe.
Well, they did say. I think I watched. It was like one of their streams when they were streaming, but they said mid-July we'll get the collection system, the AI, the guns, and the vehicles. So.
Well, that's good.
Some other apps.
So we're getting a
We'll see what we
preview.
get.
So I think
I guess it's kind of like a preview.
So I think what they're doing is they're trying to sneak in a few things. Do you know what I mean? With the updates as well too. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, like Assassin's Creed Origins. They're like, hey, here you go. Okay, thanks. Didn't know we needed that, but now that we have it, please don't take it away.
Though. Like there was some cool stuff in there,
Yeah.
But you know what don't make sense is they got a Far Cry. I mean, a Map Jam 5 for Vietnam. They're not going to have
AI normal AI.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
The father does not accept you, and they're all like yelling like weird cultist shit.
So-
you're in Vietnam.
So Cap, what did you think of the sort of like playing through that DLC?
The DLC. Okay, so I played about an hour of it, and like, to be honest, like I didn't feel like I was in Vietnam. I felt like I was playing Far Cry 3 or some shit on an island, you know, like it's just it wasn't thick like the brush and stuff, you know, like Vietnam, like it's really thick jungle trees and stuff everywhere, you know. It's not, I mean, there is some valleys and open fields, but it's very dense jungle.
I
didn't feel like I was in Vietnam.
I actually felt like I felt it was lazy. I felt
it was very lazy.
And
the animals too. Did I tell you guys about the freaking
Well,
animals?
I didn't make that DLC,
Jesus.
by the way.
Like literally, like okay, so we had tigers, elephants, and water buffaloes in Far Cry 4.
Right.
But we didn't get any of that for this new DLC. They have all those animals in Vietnam too.
Right.
And
I think that's why I found it sort of like, you know, empty and I mean, I'm not being funny. I could have made that map with my hands tied behind my back.
Dude, seriously.
Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously, like I've been mapping for a long time. Any one of us could have made that map. You know what I mean? It was a large map. The one thing that I did like about that was the stealth mechanics, because they had extra stealth mechanics in there. So I actually found that kind of fun. And I actually thought it actually played better than the main game itself. You know,
I like the perks.
With the perks,
and you had to stay stealthy. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. It was different. At least it had a different feel. You know.
Yeah. But the sort of outlook of the map. I mean, I have to admit the map was massive. Do you know what I mean? For what it was.
It was. I was actually surprised.
I was surprised how large that was. So for the first DLC to come out of the gate, in my opinion, they're going to have to top that. Because like I said, I felt it was kind of lazy. And that's just an opinion. Do you know what I mean?
Well, just curious, like, remind me again how much it was of a difference paying for the DLCs versus just the core game. Was it like $40-$50 extra?
30, you think?
It was 60 and 100. 100 for the gold version.
So $40.
Yeah.
Okay, so for $40, we're guaranteed 6 DLCs.
Yeah,
is that what they said, right?
Yeah.
So it's 3 that have been announced and then 3 unannounced is what they were talking about. Like,
okay.
Yeah,
so do you feel for $40 getting 6 DLCs? Do you think it was worth the extra cash? You know,
I've seen better DLC. I've seen better DLC. It wasn't eye popping. It wasn't. It did have a replay value to it. But like I said, for me, it felt like just tacked on. It felt like something that you could have literally taken out of the main game and put together. It just didn't. It didn't feel like it had any extra work on it, or it didn't feel like Vietnam at all. Do you know what I mean? No tanks in there. Do you know what I mean? That's why I said it felt lazy.
I mean, at least they put the jets, but like,
still, it just didn't.
We didn't even get proper Huey helicopters. Yeah. Like, you think they would have done that?
And even if they didn't have to make the DLC so that the assets could go into the editor. They could have still made the DLC and put only some of the assets into the editor. You know what I mean? But other than that, I just felt it was lazy. And I didn't know what to think of the loudspeakers. If you went through that, Cap, the
loudspeakers.
Yeah, the propaganda. The propaganda.
The propaganda speakers. Yeah.
No, I didn't play too much.
I thought it was interesting. I also like the jets where you could call on a jet bomb, but sometimes I would land it right on them, and then like half the people would live, and I'm like, what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it was real accurate for some reason. Or sometimes it wouldn't work if you tried to click on it, and then you had to keep going over it and trying to click on a piece of ground where the AI was. So, but for what it was, for me, I thought it was worth it. You know, I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was super bad.
I don't know. I
think-
mainly got the DLC because I thought you were gonna have it to get all those assets, and then
No,
they just
they-
released
they-
all the assets, and I was like, well, why the hell did I even pay the $100 if I'm getting assets anyways?
Well,
I think they could throw in a they could throw in a game mode that is not, free. Who knows? They might. They only said
Hopefully
assets.
Next one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's precious.
Yeah,
Throwing a game
we're gonna
mode.
we're gonna discuss that. We're gonna discuss that.
Yeah.
So the Hour of Darkness. Would you rate it out of 10? Would you think Hour of Darkness out of 10?
Give it a 6.
Wow. Okay, maybe I should play it then.
You think 6 is too high? I'd say it was sort of mediocre, so I would give it a 5 personally. Do you know what I mean?
I would give the assets probably a 4. It's like, it was cool that they said, hey, we're adding assets in, but when it came to it, like, they took out, I remember there was at least 8 repeating assets that were already in the game that they were then claiming. Like,
Yeah,
It is.
it's
Yeah.
duplicated.
I think there's
yeah,
like
it's
a
like,
table,
hey,
a
we're
green
giving you a bunch
table.
more assets. It's like, are you really though, or are you just adding them in here because this is where you want to put them now, and now we're going to delete them from other areas?
Huh.
I like the grass hut houses. Well, the vine houses.
Those are cool.
They're
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
interesting.
The
So
vines on them.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you can find ways to incorporate stuff like that. But I mean, when it comes to like actual Vietnam assets, what do you really have? Like, do you have punji pits? Do you have, you were talking about the tunnel systems and stuff. How like it's kind of
Yeah,
suck.
they're not very accurate. Like
They had Agent Orange.
It more looked
kind
like
of.
stone. Like it wasn't like it didn't look like a mud tunnel. Like tunnel you would dig out.
See,
Yeah.
It was just all raw. Basically.
Lazy Muppet just put she didn't like it at all. So
No, she tried it.
yeah, so she wasn't too keen on it.
No, I don't think she beat it.
Hopefully we'll get something good next month.
Well, I actually got to the end of it, and I actually thought that the end of it, I thought it was going to be like a big sort of like stage at the end, and I actually beat it relatively easy. Like I thought it was just a bit too easy, and I think with this Far Cry you don't have like a harder setting, do you, on this one?
I mean,
not that I'm aware of.
They do. They had 3 different ones. One's
I
like
think there was a harder setting.
TV mode, like you can have all kinds of weapons. I forget what the other mode was. You can only have one weapon.
Yeah, but
and
it's,
your health was decreased.
yeah, but
I don't know if the AI was harder.
Right, okay, I see. See, that's the thing. The AI didn't go extra ham on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a cheaper way.
Yeah. So
to the game.
So
Let's just take away stuff from players, not actually focus
right.
on.
So I actually played it on the so-called hardest setting. Do you know what I mean? I think I was only able to use 2 weapons. I was only able to use so that's the first thing I played it on, thinking it was going to be tough, but I found it relatively easy. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, 5 out of 10 for me for the DLC, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, here's the thing though. Like, if you really break it down, you're paying what, like maybe $6 for.
I think to just
DLC.
buy that one DLC, I heard it was $12.99. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that's a little expensive. Yeah.
yeah, but if
Hey, there's Johnny.
bought them
Johnny
all-
Two Fingers is in the chat. Hey.
Oh, Johnny, how you doing? How you doing, Johnny Two Fingers? Welcome to the chat. Sweet. So let's move on from the DLC. It came out. It was kind of mediocre. Some people liked it. Some people didn't. Some people thought it was lazy. I especially thought it was lazy as well, and I thought that they could have done a little bit more to it. But it is what it is. It's out now. It's in the wild. It's being judged. Let's move on.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Right, okay then. The second topic today is patch notes patch notes, the title update 7, which was released on the 14th of June. So I do have the patch notes here for Far Cry 5, the title update, which they had new additions in here, didn't they? So did any of you guys get to check out the new update at all?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I heard they fixed the hold tool, right?
Yeah,
That
they
was
fixed the hold tool and the mortar glitch when two people were on the mortar.
Yes.
Mess
Yeah.
up. And one worked. But yeah, they work now.
So
Being
that'll
weapon tested it.
yeah that'll be a good thing for you then, Death Weapon, right? Because one of your maps was ruined because of that, right?
Yeah, I ended up having
was it something to do with the mortars, right?
Yeah, before, whenever you had more than one person get on a mortar, whether it be a teammate or opposite team, it would knock one of you off the mortar, or when you fired it, it would automatically explode at your feet. It was a complete mess. So when I made the map, obviously you can't play test it with other people until you publish it. So I made an entire map, spending a week or two on the map, only to find out when I uploaded it, the mortars were completely busted. So I wrote into Ubisoft about it, got no response. But then all of a sudden it's like, hey, things are fixed. I'm like, today's a good day. So, I am happy. Like I do have some respect going back for Ubi. Like they did screw up a lot of things, but I feel like this update, they really started listening to the community, what people were complaining about, and really started to go in. Now that may be too late. I don't know, but I feel like this patch is definitely a step in the right direction.
Before we continue, I just want to read a couple of comments. Johnny Two Fingers says it's the same thing. It felt lazy. That's exactly what we've just said, Johnny. Do you know what I mean? We referring to the DLC. And Irascible Sap, he says that I think it's just a symptom of the wider gaming industry. Most studios seem to have the fast book model these days, where all they're interested in is churning out new DLC on a regular basis with no regard to quality or customer satisfaction to keep people spending their money on games stroke DLC. So what do you think? Do you think that's something that rings true?
Well, it rings true with just about every game now.
I'm trying to do that Call of Duty type stuff every year.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the pay to play, pay to win, scenario on it. It's with every game coming out now, but even more so, you can't count your blessing on the fact of, we don't have to pay for the DLC in order to get the assets and the editor, to make things. So I think that's one thing that, is coming out good. And if you break it down, you're paying like $6 per DLC, and in the grand scheme of things, without me playing it, the single player, I feel that $6 isn't a whole lot to really, put out there to give something to try. Like, if you think about it, did you get $6 worth of DLC? Like, even if you played it for like 2 days, the DLC, was it worth $6?
Like I said, yeah, that's a rhetorical question, by the way. So let's. I know we've just.
Johnny asked if they fixed the lobby system yet.
Yeah,
well,
define fixed.
Define fixed. So anyway, yeah. Getting back to the patch notes and the title update 7. There was some. I actually felt the same way as you, Death Weapon. Regards to they seem to be pushing out the updates rather often now.
Yeah. Well, in the grand scheme of things, it's it is doing great with bringing out updates, but it's almost like they're addressing the issue maybe 2 weeks after you find something. I know they got to go through all the processes and things like that, but you would think that research and development would be playing the game and know about these issues way before the concerns are addressed from the casual player.
Right.
I don't know why they don't have people like there at the studio like testing the game, looking for all this. Like, I don't know.
That's why they
Well,
got
the
us.
thing is, they probably do.
Well, they're doing a really bad
Yeah.
job.
All we can do is just all we can do is just speculate. I mean, to be honest, I mean, we did have like 2 podcasts where we just went straight hard at we actually didn't go hard at Ubisoft, but it was kind of depressing sort of listening back to the podcasts, you know what I mean, and you know all of this negative stuff, and most of that is actually still there, to be honest.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I guess they kind of lighten the jab with this last update. I guess.
So with this last update, I mean, I did ask this question earlier on. What do you guys think about this last update? You know, like any of the parts that are actually in there. Because we've got like there's a title here. New additions, so they've got new additions, new avatar items added to character customization. Far Cry 3, Vass, and what's that? Citra? I can't even pronounce that name.
Yeah, it's like his sister, Voss's sister.
Right, okay, yeah, and they've got a few characters in there. New assets added to the arcade editor, Assassin's Creed Origins. New loading screens added. What did you think about the loading screen? I didn't really. It passed me, so I didn't.
Screen, did they change it?
They said they moved around the lettering so it doesn't block as much. I haven't noticed. I haven't noticed it.
I hadn't noticed it neither.
Did you guys notice though? After the update, they changed private lobbies to multiplayer lobbies, so it makes me think they're getting that ready for this new lobby system.
I hope so. That'll be.
Why else would they change private lobbies to multiplayer lobbies? It like literally says that now. Like, unless they just messed up.
The problem is I think they're jumbling around things and they're not changing their UI. They're just changing the locations. So, they did say that they are working on a customizable lobby system. So
lobby browser system.
Browser system. That's it.
I mean, we've discussed this, and we keep saying this, and we keep coming back to this, but we've discussed this every time. It would be nice, just for to be able to, as a multiplayer, go on. So like, say for instance, I want to just go into a multiplayer game, and see somebody up there who's got a lobby running, and just join that lobby. So it's like a drop in and drop out system. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be the most ideal and perfect system, obviously with a few tweaks, do you know what I mean, that we could have for a public lobby system. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it worked great too.
Yeah, that would work perfectly.
It's proven to work good in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I digress. Let's move on to stability and performance. So stability and performance, you've got it says here fixed multiple low occurrence crashes. Don't know if that's something I've not come across that. So I'm assuming some players have. Do you know what I mean? So I'm assuming that some players have had
a lot of people. Have had weird things happen to them that hasn't happened to other people.
What I think that might be referring to is sometimes when you go in and you select a map, when you're a map picker, you'll select the map, and then when it goes to the countdown, all of a sudden it'll kick you out of the game.
All right.
At least that was my experience. I've had it a couple of times.
Right.
I know Dapper Hayden said his map crashed and he couldn't get it back or something. It was corrupted. I don't know if he'll fix that.
Oh, his file got corrupted on his PC.
Yeah. That would really suck. If
we don't have to worry about that on the Xbox, though.
Yeah.
Or consoles.
Yeah. So what do they have here? Fixed issue where the FPS could drop below 30 at certain locations in the world. It's not something that I've noticed. So that'll probably be referring to main campaign, I suppose.
One thing I have noticed in the editor when you play maps, I don't know if you noticed the draw distance on a lot of items have kind of changed. Like tree assets, where before they would draw all the way across the map. Now I have it where if you're a certain distance away, it'll kind of flicker into an existence.
I guess that's the
Will
help
it
with
become
the
2D?
FPS.
Are you talking about when it becomes 2D to 3D?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
transition is not
Yeah,
as
like flicker
smooth
for a
as what it
second.
used to be.
Yeah.
So another one fixed an issue where the player could become stuck in a death loop after crashing the plane into Joseph's statue or by falling off the radio tower on Dutch's Island. I've never come across that, so
That's really specific.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
like
know.
single player stuff.
yeah.
When
this
you
is-
turn around
yeah.
twice, fire into the air 3 times, and then
Yeah.
jump out of the airplane. We fixed that issue. Now it won't stick you in the air anymore.
I guess the loop is you die over and over again.
Yep.
You keep falling over. And over.
Jeez.
Did I
That
ever
would be.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Yeah.
This shit's getting old, man. This is getting old. You've got. I don't know if I really want to actually go through everything on the. You know what I mean?
There's really not that much.
Yeah, there is a lot
I
of
mean,
stuff.
there is, but it's none of it's really that important.
Let's
I
go
think-
ahead and nutshell
It's the
the
editor
patch
stuff.
notes. They fixed a lot of stuff. They broke
Right.
some other stuff.
They
And-
always do.
They do every time.
They always
It's
do.
okay.
Fix
yeah, we
something.
should wait till next update to see
Um,
what they break and what they
so-
fix again.
So one of the things that actually concerned me was the haul tool. So apparently the haul tool was completely broken. So whenever you say if you built a map underneath the map itself, underneath the terrain, when you published it, it would be like you'd never even use the haul tool, right?
I think the terrain would show up. The hole would still be there, so you can walk
Right.
through it.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
annoying.
so that was kind of messed up, right?
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't really experienced much with it, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Me neither. I didn't publish anything during
Yeah.
that.
I know a lot of people held off on publishing their maps because of a lot of these issues.
Right. I kind of slowed down. I mean, my maps is just too far gone. I mean, I'm like on the first map that I've been building from since 1900 summer. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've kind of slowed down on the building because if I'm gonna publish a map, yeah, I just want I know everyone else has been publishing maps. I just want my map to be published nicely. Do you know what I mean? But we do have that issue. I don't know if the issue's still there with the map stealing issue.
No, it's always
No,
going to be there.
I mean, I haven't
But
noticed
is
anything.
it as bad as what it was when it first started, though? Do you know what I mean? I don't think it is.
Well, you got to think you dropped down from 100,000 players down to 10,000 players, and now, I don't even know what we're down to now. But as I was saying before, playing in the lobbies, I would play with guys. They would drop out of the lobby, but then maybe 2 or 3 games later, they'd pop back into a lobby, and this is in the public lobby. If you had so many people in rotation, you would think that you wouldn't come across the same player. So it tends to make me think that there's just not as many players as what there were. So therefore, not as much
Dude,
map
we've
stealing.
lost a lot of players, dude.
Caffeinated
Yeah.
is here as well too, man. Caffeinated, thank you very much. I don't know if I ever got to thank you, but thank you very much for the idea of linking. So what's happened is I do YouTube. I do these YouTube videos, and Caffeinated suggested that I drop the link in the description from the Ubisoft website. So if I'm recording somebody's map, I can actually go to the website, grab the link from their map, and then drop it into the description, so that people, if they have a Ubisoft account, they can actually go into the description and they can check out on the website where the map is and what platform it is on. So I've started using that in my description, and that's thanks to Caffeinated for that. So we've kind of sort of like discussed the update. Now the one of the juicy ones, the relationship with the community, Ubisoft's relationship. We actually discuss this every podcast, and the reason why it's a topic every podcast is because we'd like the relationship to get better, with Ubisoft and us mappers, and with the massive drop off that we've gotten as well too. I think the relationship should be a little bit tighter. You would have thought, right? Or it should have gotten better. I know with the updates, it's definitely gotten better. The only problem that I found with the updates, in my opinion, is the fact that there are some games that when they have updates, they actually put the title updates in the game so that everybody knows them. Right now, that the updates are only specific to the Ubisoft forums.
You know what's bad about when they announce them too? They always do it a day before.
Yeah, sometimes it's not even a full day. It's like 12 hours. Like,
Yeah.
here you go. Here's the patch note. By the way,
Update. Oh yeah, it's tomorrow. By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they don't know how much they're gonna get done. Maybe, I don't know.
oh no, they know, because you got to think about it. They have to send in the updates to Microsoft to get approved before anything ever does. So that's a week beforehand, so Microsoft can do everything on their hands. So they could tell us a week beforehand, hey, these are the updates coming through. It's not like Microsoft saying, no, you can't give them more trees. What are you, crazy? Go back and do this again.
You gotta patch that whole tool.
Right?
So what do you think about the relationship? I mean, because it got off to a rocky start, right?
Cut out.
You cut out bad.
Who, me?
Right
I cut out.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So what happened with the I've forgotten what I was going to say now. What
The
I was gonna
relationship.
say. Yeah.
Between Ubisoft and the community.
Well, the relation, actually, the relationship with Ubisoft and the community. What happened was at the beginning of the game, there was a massive. It seemed like they just completely blanked us at first, but now they're starting to communicate a bit more, especially in the forums.
Well, here's the thing, though. Communication takes two people talking to each other. I feel like Ubisoft is sending out their community developers and like town criers. Hear ye, we're fixing these updates tomorrow. And then they go back behind the curtain and they don't talk to us anymore. Unless you say, Ubisoft, you suck. And then, you'll get Ubi Jolly Charlie coming out there saying, no, we don't. You suck at the community.
Do you think right now, that Ubisoft are completely ignorant to what's actually happening in the community? Because there's no. I'm concerned in one way, but then I'm not concerned in another way. I mean, the drop off is the only players that are actually playing Far Cry now is the hardcore fans. That's left, right? So the drop off has been massive, and I think Death Weapon. I think we discussed this a little bit earlier on before we went live, where we were talking about how the drop off has kind of affected the way that it's like me and you play. So because the updates have been coming so late, because they're patching the game so late into the game, we're talking about like how many months is it now since the game came out?
It's about 2.
It's longer than that. It's about 3.
Almost 3.
Almost
yeah, about
3. Yeah, so almost, that's 3 months. That's a long time. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's kind of funny because a lot of us have actually, as a matter of fact, every one of us here have lost interest at one point or another, right?
I don't know. Captain's still going pretty strong. He's always in the editor doing stuff. And, like with me, I had some real life issues to get caught up on and do some finish up on some commission stuff. So
The reason why I say this is because I know I keep referring back to Far Cry 2, but I never seen anything like this until Far Cry 5. See, with Far Cry 2, I never seen anyone playing anything else. Like, they were just in Far Cry 2 playing the editor or the multiplayer. With Far Cry 5, I've noticed when I've come online, you know, the guys who are hardcore mappers like yourself, myself, we started playing other games. Even though we do like Far Cry 5, we just started to play other games. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
and that's something I've never seen before.
Well, you know, it's not the game. It really isn't the game. What it is just the way
the lobby system. Yes,
the lobby system. Yeah, it's like the editor.
Lack of game modes.
The editor's fantastic. So if you go in there, you can get lost in yourself just, you know, mapping and everything. That's not the issue. The issue is playability when you go in and you try to, you know, play with your friends or get it loaded and play with other people. It's just it's atrocious to try to get something done like that.
Yeah, to try to get people together, because not everybody goes on. You have to like go on right at the same time. Where if you have an open lobby, you can pop in and out. You got different people coming in and out, and it creates a better community because you got a community of people that say, "Hey, man, I checked out that map. I got to jump in your lobby." This way, you know, people are falling apart. People are drifting apart. It's not, you know. They created their own problems. I asked for a lobby system from the get-go. So
yeah, man, they made their own bed.
and now people are dropping off because of the lack of game modes. You know?
Right, which is kind of funny because that's actually the next thing that I wanted to bring up. That's number 4 on the list. Game modes. I'm bored with Far Cry. Seriously, they have the single player modes, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with the single player modes. The single player modes is 100%. As far as I'm concerned, the single player modes, they don't need to do anything with the single player modes. Yeah, they're great. My concern is the multiplayer. Now, they only have, if you're talking about multiplayer, they only have 2 modes: team deathmatch and deathmatch. That's it. You know what I mean?
That's not enough.
And it's like, it's generic. It's generic and it's boring, and I just don't feel like playing multiplayer. Do you know what I mean? If I wanted to play a good multiplayer game, I would probably go and play. I'm not a Call of Duty fan, but I would go and play Call of Duty, or I would go and play Battlefield.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Or maybe Fortnite or something.
Even
be like me and play PUBG.
Do you know what I mean? So we need some game modes in there. Something like Steal the Sample or Capture the Flag. Do you know what I mean? Something where you're actually working as a team.
Domination.
Do you know what I mean? We need something. Do you know what I mean? Because I think if we have an extra game mode, something that works, that's what's going to bring a lot of people back. That's what's going to bring a lot of people back playing these maps and building. With the 2 mods that we have right now, there's only going to so the drop off is going to be even more so later on down the line. Do you know what I mean? And that's just my concern, especially as a content creator as well. Which is something that I want to talk about nearer to the end of the podcast. So what do you think about game modes? What's you guys' opinion?
I like Capture the Flag, sort of like to Steal a Sample that was in Predator. That's what I liked, but anything's better than what we got.
Yeah. So what was Domination, Def? How does Domination work? Is it more
you know, it could be capture the zones, domination, whatever you want to call it. It's basically, you have, like, say you take 3 flags, you stick them in 3 different positions of the map, which create flow around, you know, anybody wants to showcase a map, that's the way to do it. Because you put destinations throughout the map that you have to capture, and, you know, if you hold those zones, you know, then it heightens your team's score. You know, if you capture the other team's zone, it lowers their score down, or keeps yours going up, and that's something that, like, really helps game flow. And I don't really see why they wouldn't have put in, like, Capture the Flag or Domination. It seems something that could have easily been done. You know,
Yeah.
they've already got the multiple spawn points.
Johnny Two Fingers,
Great.
Johnny Two Fingers puts dominatrix mode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of like bigger maps would totally like benefit from capture the flag or like some objective like based game mode, because you could like set those objectives in like certain parts of your map, and like it'll allow people to look at your map more and see areas they wouldn't see playing domination or team TDM, you know.
Right.
So I feel like
I think the problem is their UI system that they have. Like, what they have in place right now, there's no place to go in and play. They found it easier and lazy to go in and just put, play in a public lobby. So it could be deathmatch, it could be team deathmatch. You don't know because you don't choose the game mode. You know, it just randomly chooses for you.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, it just randomly chooses it. You can't choose I want to play search and destroy. I want to play domination. I want to play capture the flag.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks.
So I mean, for me, I'm afraid that. I mean, I've already started this already. I mean, because I'm struggling at the moment to be sort of like, you know, sort of encapsulated by what Far Cry has to offer, and for me, Far Cry right now at this point is so boring, that I just don't even feel like even building or anything like that. The only thing that I actually enjoyed, because I did that, it was towards this week. I think it was me and Cap and some other guys, which I will give shout outs to. We ran a private lobby, and I was just playing maps, you know, created by, you know, those users, and I had so much fun, you know, playing with those maps. I don't know if was you there, Cap? I think you was. Yeah, you was, yeah. And we had so much fun. I wish you guys were actually there. It was absolutely crazy. I think we played like about 4 or 5 maps.
Yeah, that was a good night.
Yeah, it was a really good. Yeah, it was a really a good morning for me and a good night for
you.
you.
Good morning, good night for me.
Do you know what I mean? It was really cool. I really did enjoy that, but I found myself getting bored. You know what I mean, because there was only just the 2 mods that we were playing. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, what can I say? I think Ubisoft need to sort of like, you know, add that extra game mode. It would be nice for that game mode just to bring people back, because it's, like I said, I don't mind, you know, recording.
You never know. We might still get it because they're adding in more assets here in July.
There's a lot of DLC still, man.
Right.
There could be something with the revamping of the lobby system and stuff, what they're talking about. Maybe they're working on game modes at the same time. So there still could be hope. I know that's, you know, not just the town, Hope County, but we can actually have hope for the game still, you know. You never know. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, you know, when it's the official DLC drop. Now, if it's like 6 months from now, it's kind of like, well, we're just going to have to hope for Far Cry 6.
Yeah.
Do you know something? Yeah, if they mention a Far Cry 6, I'll be like, I don't know what to think, man. If like for me, like right now, I think I've been disappointed 3 times in a row now, with Far Cry. So it's not something that I'll be jumping on, and it's not something that I really even want to be thinking about right now, neither. Do you know what I mean? Just because of the mess that they're actually in at the moment. So we'll see with the updates. Do you know what I mean? I think it's good for me to just sort of like have a break, sit back from it, build occasionally, and when they do patch it, release the maps that I want to release. So let's move on. I'd like to talk about the community on the platforms. I wanted to talk about who's playing. Now I'm talking about like content creators, as in mappers, people who are actually making maps right now. I would have liked to have talked about, you know, some mappers on PlayStation 4 and PC, but unfortunately, because of, you know, real life issues, I couldn't get around to doing that. But however, I did play some maps on the Xbox. Let me see. And I'd like to sort of, you know, talk about these guys, because they're doing some really good stuff at the moment. Yeah, Cap, we played last week? It was like over the weekend, end of the weekend or beginning of the week it was. We played with a guy called Talon, Delayed Reaction, Hobo Itchy, and was it Donny W13?
Yeah,
I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah. So the maps that we played, was what's that? Is it Texas? I think it was.
Texas.
Yeah, Texas. So we played a map called was it Standing Grind or something like that? A Grand. I can't remember the name of it. Summit Grand. 1843. I think it was like a World War map or something like that. I think it was.
I don't think I was in the lobby at that point because I was.
Do you know what? Yeah, my spelling is fucking terrible. Do you know what I mean? So I can't even. There was a map called Beatdown in Barbados by Talon. Beatdown in Barbados by Talon. That is a team deathmatch map. So that was a great map to play. Spread Eagle by Delayed Reaction, which I think I did a recording. Put that on my YouTube channel. Serpent's Oasis by Hobo Itchy. Rainbow Road, which was a really fun map to play. Rainbow Road. I'm sure you've played that before. Has any of you guys played that one before?
Yeah, I did. And I think that was a really fun take, and creating your own kind of game mode and stuff is.
It uses a glitch, like
yeah,
around the map.
Yeah, so it was a glitch to sort of slide around the map. And he did another one called Wee. or actually, it's Wee. Yeah.
Wee.
So I think one of them was influenced by a Nintendo game. Was it?
I think it was Mario Kart.
Was it Mario Kart?
Yeah, Mario
right.
Kart.
Okay. So that was an interesting take. Hillbilly Hoedown.
By Shiny Tapestry, I think.
Right.
Is that one?
That's shiny. That's funny.
Was it Shiny Tapestry that did that one? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay. And I played Dust by Lost Soldier as well too, which was I was surprised actually. It played really well.
That map was great actually.
It's a very detailed map.
Very good, man. Seriously, do you know what I mean?
I was good too.
Yeah.
It's still up on the front page and everything.
It's, tight corners, open areas. It's kind of like a Call of Duty style type map, right? So I was, I was stunned by that one. And
Call of Duty, they know their stuff, man. I know a lot of people hate on them, but they make good multiplayer maps.
Right. Okay.
They really do.
So yeah, man. So Dust by Lost Soldier. So those are the shout outs that I want to give out this week, and hopefully my list will get better and better for every podcast. And these are the content creators, because every podcast that we talk, we're always talking about Ubisoft, but we're never really talking about the map editors, because the map editors are very important. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. They're the only thing keeping this game afloat right now.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So
another thing too, man, like it'd be nice. I know we've got all these forms of social media out there, but it'd be really cool if we could all get together, just like used to in Far Cry 2 and stuff like that. If we could really, start creating maybe a night for all of us to get together, or day or whatever, and finally actually do that. Get down and play maps.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be nice to get people together.
Lazy Map Bet was trying to get in there.
I seen. So number 6, we've got 2 more topics left tonight. I want to sneak something else in. Lost Soldier did mention to me that there was some sort of European law coming in with the copyrights. I got to sort of read through it briefly, but apparently that's going to be affecting a lot of content creators. I'm talking about just like in the gaming industry and also us, because I don't know if it is actually connected. So I'm actually speculating here, but I read on Facebook there was one editor who made a map, and Ubisoft actually contacted him, and they actually took his map down. I can't remember who it was. They took his map down.
I forgot about that. I saw it the other day as well.
Right. Okay. They took his map down. So, and I think it was related to a movie title or something like that, right? I believe.
But he just had a movie title in the title of his map name.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. Really and truthfully, I should have sort of like, checked it out before I even mentioned it. Do you know what I mean? But it's something that that we can look into. But apparently, the EU are making changes to the copyright laws.
Where you can't create anything to do with the movie industry any longer?
We don't know. We don't know. So I think it's something
Thanks, EU.
Yeah. But anyway,
I think that's kind of silly. If you think about it, it's like, okay, so if you like to make themed maps and you like to make movie themed maps, more power to you. It's kind of a fan favorite. You might not get featured by Ubisoft or anything like that. I can understand that, but you're giving us an avenue to create whatever out there. If somebody wants to create a Star Wars map or My Little Pony map, more power to them. Go for it. It's all fan favorite stuff.
If we record it though on YouTube, that means that it could be taken down because it's like Star Wars related or something. Because somebody made a map like that.
I could see
that's
that
going a little too far.
When's enough? When is it too much?
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of crazy, man. Seriously. But anyway, I suppose when I sort of like look into that a little bit more, then maybe it could be something that we could sort of like discuss a little bit further. But for now, it's just it's just something that sort of caught my eye briefly. So here we go. Map Jam, the Map Jam contest. Who knows about the Map Jam contest? Because it just totally went past me. They've got this.
Basically, you have to make a Vietnam themed map.
Yeah, without all the assets.
With 20 assets for Vietnam.
No. You can use the assets from the DLC, but you also can use all the other assets.
Yeah, but you don't get the AI in time. I don't think.
Well, yeah, it kind of ruins it. You have like all these.
Or the weapons.
Things
that help immerse you in it.
There's a couple Vietnam era weapons we could use, but
I think you're supposed to get a truck too.
You know what they should have done? We're getting aliens pretty soon. They should have done an alien map jam so you can create everything without all the assets for the next DLC coming out, and then when it comes out, we'll move on to the next DLC. Yeah. In preparation.
It looks like there's a good amount of competition from what I've seen. I don't know. I'm entering it as well. Like I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, so sorry, let me go back again, so I'm just checking the chat, so Kid Karma, who's Fury, Mr. Fury, he says maybe it's a license issue, I think. Where did he say that? Right, yeah. It says maybe it's a license issue, and Ubisoft are protecting themselves regarding to the copyright thing. You know what I mean? But like I said,
but Ubisoft has always allowed you to make whatever you want. They've never removed anything at all. You know, that's got to be a nuisance.
But that means that they might have to comply with certain laws, you know, with this new European law coming into place. But
Very well
like I said, you know, we're just sort of speculating on the issue, and I've just brought it up, so no one was actually prepared for that. So it's something that we could sort of like look into and maybe discuss in the next podcast, especially if it does affect the game that we all love to hate.
Yeah, love to hate it. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was an important fact. So the map jam, when does map jam's already started, right? So when does that
28.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Then
6 days.
5 days.
About
5
6
days.
days.
You can do
yeah.
it.
No, I think it's 6.
No, 6.
Right.
All right, you can get something done then.
So it's due to end in a few days.
5 days. 5 days.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go in and make the scene from Predator, but not call it Predator. I'll just call it Alien versus really large human. Get around everything.
Yeah. So the last thing that I want to talk about, which is really important, is YouTube content creators, something that we've never discussed before in the podcast. So that kind of relates to myself and Lazy Mapper, as in creating content. Now, there are still some YouTubers creating some content and still supporting the main community. There is myself. There is, you know, Lazy Mapper. When
I get back into it.
When he gets back into it. Fallen Champ. He's got a new channel up as well, which is it's called Fallen Champ. So check that out. He's got his Far Cry 5 stuff back up, and he's posting on a regular basis. He's got some new stuff up there, so go check that out. And I think there's Lee Zone. There's still recording some who's still recording some content creators stuff. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. So what do you think about the content creators, as in, you know, people who are sort of like creating content for the community?
I think it's good to keep people's maps exposed on YouTube, because it's hard to get people to play them sometimes and check them out. Personally, I didn't like Lee Zone back in the day because he would change people's names and not give the proper map name, but he seems to be
stopped doing that though.
Yeah, he seems to be doing better, but at that time. And I don't know, some of the bigger guys seem to have dropped away I noticed.
We knew they were going to drop off. We said that from the beginning, because they just seemed to blitz in when the game came out, thinking that we'll take this side of the market. It was really just for their YouTube channel and their YouTube channel alone. It was they never had a passion for it. You could tell. Yeah. If you can tell when somebody has a true passion for something. Do you know what I mean?
Well, at the same time, you got to give credit where credit's due. Like if they've grown their channel to the point where they have a lot of content viewers, those content viewers have also moved on to other games and stuff like that.
True.
They have to keep up with their channel. Like, they can be passionate about gaming, but then when the game becomes a little irrelevant or so many problems like what Far Cry has had, they kind of have to move on. But I mean, we have to give thanks at least to the fact that, like, I've had my map showcased on a few of the other channels as well, and I really appreciate everything that they have done. Even though they have moved on, they did really nice, with showcasing stuff, as well as you did one of the nicest showcases on one of my maps I'd ever seen. And I certainly appreciate that, and that's where it comes through on really seeing the passion that somebody has with a game itself. You see that passion in your work. It's not just a real quick, hey, here's a cool map, go check it out on blah, 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 blah. I'll have another map for you tomorrow, kind of deal. Yeah. So I mean, You can see that shine through in what you create as well.
Yeah, and it's like I miss lazy mappers videos as well too, because they were they were more mine are more sort of geared towards sort of cinematic style. Look, take a look at this map. Take a look at what this person has built. Do you know what I mean? Whereas lazy mapper takes the role of you know, these are the people who are creating this content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like to play it.
Yeah, play it and so forth and so forth. You know what I mean? And that way you have quite a lot of you know, you have a lot of diversity, don't you?
Yeah, between the channels too. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I just think that we need more people recording more stuff as well.
Also, it's one of those things. You guys are really the only thing keeping the game kind of flowing still. So, I mean, you think about it, you got people checking it out, and a lot of people won't take the time to go search for maps on the game itself because it's nearly impossible to do. So the only way to see things is when, you know, YouTubers will showcase and really show off the map. Besides, you know, like the Facebook group, which everybody should be on at this point. If you're playing Far Cry, you should be in that Facebook group because you get to see a lot of content through that as well.
It's kind of crazy as well too, because like Facebook, I didn't realize that Facebook, after out of all of the other applications, the Facebook group seems to be getting the majority of the content. I've noticed for me, Discord is completely dead. As far as it's just no one's posting on there anymore. Seriously, it's proper dead. Do you know what I mean?
Well, Discord for me was more of like if you're typing right there and you see something, somebody's like, "Oh yeah, let me check it out," and you just post a screenshot like, "Hey, here's something." You know, just it takes a lot of effort for that, and you get very little return. Whereas Facebook, you know, the group, you get everybody checking it out, discussing it,
liking your picture and saying they want to play it, all this shit.
Yeah.
I had see, the thing is, I could have there's a couple of guys that are still doing some stuff on here. What was that? Somebody dancing to a new tune.
That was my alarm.
Yeah, there's a that tune sounded a bit fruity.
Hey man,
it is what it is.
Default alarm on my phone.
Yeah, you said that really.
Sure.
Blame the manufacturers, bro.
That was a bit savage. Yeah, so I think I think it's about time YouTube creators started getting together on this. You know, like I said, now that you know, the drop off has become even more. So that would definitely be interesting, just to see what we could come up with, you know, together at some point. What do you think?
Dirty freaking mop!
Shh, you're breaking us up. Calm down.
Oh wow!
Just like you thought you had a problem with your kid hindsight.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, man. You're like trying to get attacked by a mop.
A dirty mop.
Yeah. So what do you think, guys? As in creators, do you think that we could do more as creators? As a matter of fact, yeah, guys, in the chat.
I know I do.
Yeah. In the chat,
God, I haven't made a video in forever, dude.
Just let me know in the chat, yeah, what we could do as content creators, what we could do differently. If you know our channel, you know what we're about. You know, just tell us, you know, see what we could do differently. What would you like to see on our channels?
I have a suggestion. You know, kind of kill two birds with one stone. Is, you know, you come up with a set time. So if you come up with a set time, you can kind of plan, you know, real life around everything. Hey, you know, Fridays at 8 o'clock, we're going to be on to play. If you want to get in on the channel, you know, get more people involved, you'll get more maps played, you know, and you really sit there and discuss, you know, each map you discuss the gameplay. You discuss, hey, are there any features that have changed, and it'll kind of help out. You know, the podcast can then coincide with what you've done.
So
it's a chance to showcase everything.
Yeah, so one of the things that people have been requesting from me is that they actually want to see me live streaming maps again. I know I've not been streaming maps for quite some time, which was something that I did on Far Cry 4. I was streaming on Twitch a lot of players' maps. I think with this it's kind of different, and it's difficult because trying to cover 3 platforms is incredibly difficult. I thought it was going to be easy, but it's not that easy at all. It was easier on Far Cry 4, but Far Cry 5 is crazy.
Especially with no lobby system, a proper one.
Yeah, so covering all 3 platforms is very difficult. I mean, since Far Cry 5 come out, I've only been covering Xbox and PlayStation, so I hadn't even got round to PC yet, and there's some good stuff on PC from what I'm seeing. So that's something that I definitely will be covering. At the moment, I've got 2 videos in the pipeline. I've got a tribute video that I'm working on, and I've got a new selection of videos that I want to do every month. And that selection of videos, is basically, it's going to be like sort of like map of the month for each platform. So basically, what I do is I play through as many maps as I possibly can on the Xbox. I play as much as I can on the PlayStation, and then go for the PC, and then put them all together and do like a sequence of them on a video, and then display that at the end of the month. So that's something that I'm going to be working on. I think that would be a great addition to the channel. Would you guys think?
Yeah.
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 At the end,
I think any activity would be good activity.
Yeah. Anything, man.
Yeah,
that's true.
But I think what I'm trying to do is just generate a little bit more interest with the way things are going, and also on top of that, don't forget as well too, there's not that many people. Like I don't know whether it has something to do with the YouTube algorithm, or whether it's because players aren't really invested in Far Cry 5, but I've noticed a significant drop in people who are sort of like watching the videos, even from Far Cry 4.
You gotta think, everybody that's watching the channels and everybody that's playing Far Cry are gonna be the hardcore players and stuff, and just the hardcore, creators all together. So, if you tailor your channel to kind of showcase more of that, it might help out as well. Like if you find a really nice map out there, contact the creator and be like, hey, I'd like to do an interview with you on, what was your inspiration for the map? What do you put in here? How many hours? And do a voiceover or something like that, where maybe you bring them into Discord, or if you can record through party chat, just kind of do like maybe a 2 to 5 minute video of going through the map, showing a little bit of gameplay, showing why that they did like areas, why they put spawn points in certain areas, why they added trees to this area, cover, maybe showcase, hey, here's the secret area, just something like that, just to really become more intimate with the creator and the map itself. Maybe that would help.
The reason why I'm speaking about this now is because there's so much talent out there, and I don't feel like it's getting exposed in the way that I feel it should. But then again, that's just my stance on things. You know what I mean? A lot of maps are being played, but you don't really get to see, what's actually gone into those maps, unless people like myself, Lazy Mapper, and Fallen Champ actually start putting those videos out there. Do you know what I mean? I just think it would be nice, for content creators to get together and have this sort of discussion. Do you know what I mean? Because like I said, the most important thing for me is map editors are spending a lot of time creating these maps. Whether it takes somebody 2 or 3 weeks or a month to create a map. They're spending time to create these brilliant, pieces, these nice pieces, but it's not getting exposed as much. Do you know what I mean? In my opinion, even with the broken featured list on Ubisoft's game Far Cry 5 thing, do you know what I mean? The featured thing is just it's a mess right now. That hasn't been fixed yet. Isn't there some issues with that?
What, featuring maps?
Yeah, featuring maps. Yeah.
Or
Has that been fixed? Because I know people were having some problems with featured maps, right?
Well, I know when you pick a map, sometimes they would pop up in the place of your map. I don't think that's fixed.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's that
okay.
stuff. But like, what do you mean problems with featured maps? Like
Well, I'm talking about getting your map actually featured now. Like,
you're talking about getting
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know,
You would know more about that than anyone else because haven't you got one of yours featured, right?
Yeah, Phobos is featured. I don't know, the way I did it, and it worked for me, is I just played it on. I published it and then played it on a Tuesday? Yeah, I played it on a Tuesday, and then by the time that Friday came, they picked it because it was like on the top page.
Right. So, do
So
you reckon it's sort of like the luck of the draw type thing, right?
Then, of course, it has to be a good-looking map, too. They're not going to just pick any map.
Obviously.
Well, I mean, actually, I take that.
It is a good map, though. I really like that map a lot.
Because they've actually picked some shitty maps.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, the way that I've seen the way that they pick through a lot of things, and not to say it's for all maps, but it's kind of like if it stays up in the the most popular maps for like a certain time period, and when they go to check, they don't really go in to look at the map. They just look at the numbers itself. Like, hey, okay, this map is 4 stars and it's up here on the front page. Let's go ahead and feature this. Yeah, they look at the the thumbnail and just kind of pop it up there. Because some of these maps, if they actually played some of these maps, they never would have featured it. They're that broken.
Yeah. So what you think, they're just looking at the picture and the rating and the amount of plays?
I think that has that has to be really a deciding factor, because if they had people actually sitting there like playtesting maps, a lot of these maps that they're putting up would never be featured.
Yeah, they would.
It would never, because of gameplay.
Yeah, Cap, I think your mic's gone funny again. It sounded a little bit robotic.
Is it working out, or am I robotic?
Yes, it's a
little staticky.
I think it's all kind of going up. But listen, guys, I've got to head off. So
thanks
for the podcast. And
well, we're gonna wrap things up anyway, because we've hit our discussion topics. We were slightly less prepared this week, and not only that, again, I had some issues with sound. For the third podcast running.
Write it down. What did you have to do?
Listen, guys, I swear I am not joking. I've been on this all day checking my settings from this morning. It's been absolutely crazy. But anyway, we're gonna end this podcast. Because some of us have got lives. You know what I mean? We've got shit to do.
I mean, I'm going to my map after this.
Well, I'll meet you on Xbox soon anyway, because I'll be jumping on there for about an hour or so. Anyway, Lazy Mapper, it's good to see you back again. Anyway, it'd be nice to see you doing some doing a couple of videos at least.
I do have 3 videos worth of stuff. I just haven't got down to sit down at my computer and hammer it out.
When you're ready, man. When you're ready. But anyway, we're gonna close this for the night. Thank you very much, everyone who joined in the podcast and who were patient enough with me while I get this embarrassing thing sorted out with this sound issue. I'll blame Microsoft. It's their fault. All these updates. But anyway,
damn you, man.
I did want to say one thing though. Tomorrow around the same time, me and Fallen Champ are supposed to be hosting some maps or playing some maps tomorrow.
That'll be awesome. What time?
Around the same time tomorrow, 3 o'clock.
On Xbox.
That'll be
Okay.
on
Yeah, on
Xbox.
Xbox.
Yeah, on Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's my day.
Yeah, I'd like to
Yeah.
get in on that as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll be
So guys, again, thank you very much for watching and participating. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll do it again the end of next month. So tune in for that. We will always post something on Facebook and let you know when we're on, guys. But we're going to close this on. For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Kemet1976. You can catch me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. So, guys, you want to do your outros?
I'm the Lazy Mapper, and check out my channel, and hopefully I'll start getting some videos done. That's Weapon.
The tumbleweed.
Oh, I'm Death Weapon. I'm on Xbox. Come play some games.
There you go.
Captain Hindsight. I'm on Twitch as Difex. YouTube is Difex. Facebook is Kylan Difex Jewett, and I'm on Instagram as well. You can find me on there as Difex as well. So,
all right, guys, it's been a great podcast. Take it
Later.
easy, and we'll see you next month.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.